Griff Hamlin here. Today's lesson, if you didn't already recognize it, is going to be in the style of slow blues in C, originally done by Alvin Lee and 10 years after, at least that's the version that I know. There are actually many recordings of this that I've seen and heard over the years, so I'm going to kind of take the gist of it and make a 12-bar blues out of it, like what I just played. So let me show you how this works. Okay. Now, as far as chord shapes, hopefully, depending on when you're seeing this lesson, you've seen some of my other lessons on some of these basic chord shapes, because we're going to use the standard stuff here. The first chord shape that we're going to need is a C7, and it's a basic straight ahead bar chord. So I'm going to take my my middle finger and put it on the 3rd string, 9th fret. My third finger, will go on the 10th fret of the 5th string. Make sure those two ring out. Now put your bar, kind of take the pad of your first finger, not the tip so much, but the pad close to the tip, and place it on the 6th string. Don't worry about the rest of the strings right now. We'll lay the bar down in a second. And what I should have right now, or what you should have right now, is the 6th string rings out okay, the 5th string rings out okay, the 4th string doesn't. In fact, it goes clunk, and you can feel it against your first finger, okay? And by the way, my first finger's on the 8th fret. The 3rd string should ring out. The 2nd and the 1st strings should also go clunk, but again, you should feel them vibrating against your first finger if you're doing this right, okay? Now, at this point, all I have to do is apply pressure, and everything should go as planned. Might take a little practice, but we'll get there, okay? So that's the first chord, the C7. And the other thing that you have to be able to do with this is to slide it down 1 fret and back. Now, the trick to the sliding is to not ever let go. Don't lift your fingers up all the way and then try to replace them on the next chord. That's not going to work. Instead, lift them up just enough that the strings stop ringing, but all of my fingers are still touching the strings, and yours should too. And in fact, most of these slide moves, I don't ever really release the pressure, okay? So that's that shape. Next shape we're going to need is a 9 chord, in this case an F9. The trick to any 9th chord is this 3rd finger barring across the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd strings, in this case at the 8th fret. Now, what most people get hung up on is they say, well, my finger won't bend backwards. Your finger doesn't have to bend backwards. You do have to push on your finger a little bit differently, however. Okay, we're used to pushing in this kind of a fashion, where we push with the tip and we curve this last knuckle. Okay, what I want you to do is imagine you're pushing a button, a big button, okay, and you need to put pressure on it. And so the finger sort of naturally almost bends backwards. Yours may not bend as backwards as mine. It doesn't really matter. Everybody's built a little bit differently, but what's important is the way the pressure is applied. In this case, that creates it so that the pressure is applied against this whole entire pad of your finger. And you can also roll it. You'll see I kind of roll it to the outside. I'm exaggerating it tremendously here, but if I roll my finger slightly to the outside, then I get a harder surface of the finger, and it's actually pretty easy. It doesn't, or I should say, it doesn't take a whole lot of pressure. Most people end up pushing it down really hard and they're straining to get that to come out. It really doesn't take a lot of pressure to get that to work, okay? And then from there, the other important note is the middle finger on the 5th string, also at the 8th fret. Now right now, the only other thing to do is add the 1st finger at the 4th string, 7th fret. And that should do it. Okay, now once you have that chord, we're going to do the same move. It's gonna go down a half step and go back 1 fret, half step, okay? We're also gonna use it up 2 frets for a G. So those are the three chords. It's slow blues in C. C, F, and G. Those are the 1, 4, and 5 chords. Okay? So now really all we have to do is kind of put a couple of little riffs in it, and then we'll have it all put together. So the first riff starts at the 10th fret of the 5th string, and then goes 8, 9, 10 on the 4th string. Kind of wipeout. Okay, but that's all there is. And this happens on just before beat 4. So if you count yourself in, it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we go to the C chord. So again, it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and So notice how I played the C and then I did it again, 4 and now F and 4 and back to C and C. Okay, so let's go through that much together one more time. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and C and half step and banana F, half step, C, down, back. Now this right here is the 10th fret on the 2nd and 3rd strings. And I'm just playing it with one finger, it's all you need. And now I've got the 12th fret on the 3rd string and the 11th fret on the 2nd string. Back to the 10th fret bar. Then I'm going to do what I call a little chord. I'm going to bar only across the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings with my first finger. So again, you just kind of push like it's a button. Not with the tip, but more like a button. Hopefully you can see the difference with my finger there, how I adjust it. And I'm going to trill. I'm going to hammer on and pull off quickly to the 3rd string, 9th fret. Okay? That's called a trill. Trills can happen in all different kinds of places, but so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and so we're always doing that riff again on and 4 and Okay, so let's go through everything we've got so far, because we're just about done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and F. Repeat. Now, same thing we did before. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and G. Here's the 5 chord. Okay, so same thing as before, just slid up 2 frets. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and F. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Just hit this one note, okay? Or you can hit it up here, whatever you want. Whatever makes you comfortable there, because the next thing that's going to happen is this. Your pinky is going to go on the 8th fret of the 1st string. Okay? Your 3rd finger is going to go on the 8th fret of the 4th string. Now, you can pick. I can pick both of these strings, or I can use my pick for the 4th string and my middle finger for the 1st string. I think that's a lot easier, and that's how I'm going to do it, but you definitely have your choice. So I'm going to do pick, finger, pick. Now the low note is going to go down like that, just 1 fret at a time, what we call chromatically. pinky stays. And then on the last one, I hit them both. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then you'd start over again. Now that last little bit, I did a half step above the 11th fret, a G sharp 9, down to the G9 at the 10th fret. Okay, so let's go through from what we say from the 5. So we have and 4 and 5, F, and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, and you start over here if you want to. Or you play a solo or whatever you feel like doing at that point, okay? So let's go through the whole thing now. I'm gonna go a little bit slow. I know it's a slow blues in C. I can't go that much slower, it'll be stop. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. And you can end it however you want. I just put that little trill. But this is a great, you know, if you're just sitting around and you're playing by yourself, it makes a great intro to a song. Of course, you could take any little part of it. You know, anytime you go to the local music store and you want to try out a new guitar, it's probably a good call. So I hope you have some fun with this. I hope it works out for you, and I'll see you in the next video.